I'm a living example that God has a funny sense of humor. By trade, I'm a clinical social worker. I did crisis, acute psych, by training, a gerontologist. I did government work before. I had whatever you want to call normal life, normal heterosexual life. And at 47, after my last relationship ended, I had a good conversation with God, and she answered. Mm-hmm. God is beyond male or female. So I said, maybe God is calling me in another direction. My future was pretty good. At this stage of my life, my plan was to work in the United States at the School of Social Work that I work for, Florida International University, got to plug it, for 6 months out of the year. That'd be in Costa Rica, West Side fishing, 6 months out of the year. Retirement, several of us retired, but we're never retired, right? Yeah. So after spending 14 months at a Trappist monastery to discern, I became a missionary. Missionaries don't get salary. We lived on a stipend. But because of work I had done before, they wouldn't let me outside the United States. We're trained to build infrastructure. They had called for, they needed people in Darfur, but no, you're not leaving the United States. So in their wisdom, they sent me to back of the yard, Chicago, the murder capital of the planet. And from there, 3 years in downtown East LA. Hardly Disney World. But there's grace. There's grace. God has grace everywhere else. I was ordained at 53. I was ordained deacon at 52. I told my superior that I was thinking of staying deacon. I didn't want to become a priest. And I got what's called fast-tracked. 6 months later, you're bound by obedience, but obedience is not, my obedience is to the Bible and to the Lord, but we dialogue with spiritual directors. And I was pretty burned out after 3 years in back of the yards, after 3 years in downtown East LA. So the previous bishop of St. Augustine had been Father Felipe, had been our chaplain at the university. He did my last young adult retreat. That's how far back. And he was named bishop, so I came to see him. He was always like a father. Okay, so he said, anybody knows Bishop Felipe here?
I think I know.
I have a job for you. They were desperately short of Spanish speakers. I speak Spanish on the west side of the diocese, so I was doing 172 miles, 4 missions on the weekend, and then helping at University of Florida with the kids. 4 to 5 masses. I'm a trained spiritual director. I don't do clinical work, but I do a lot of pastoral work, mostly with marriages. After that, they needed somebody in Williston. I was there for 4.5 years, and they needed somebody at Flagler Beach. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. I said, when they tell me how has it been, I said, you can quote A Tale of Two Cities. It was the best of times and the worst of times. Mm-hmm. We're growing. We're doing big. Our kids are coming in. We're a parish with a lot of military, a lot of law enforcement, a lot of retirees, but our numbers of kids. So in 3 years, I retired for the second time, and I plan to stay active in ministry. I do a lot with especially solidifying marriages. I have 81 weddings, 1 divorce, and I have 3 more that I'm marrying in the next couple of months, and 4 more key preparation, whether or not you're ready to live the vows. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Frank has invited me. We usually do the Sheriff's Day of Prayer. I said, well, why not? Okay, so that's my story. It's a story that God never gives up on us, right?
True.
And the job isn't finished till it's finished. I grew up in Europe, born in Cuba, grew up in Europe. My family's Northern Spanish. That's why we speak Asturiano, so I understand Portuguese. And we came to this. I've had family in the States since the 1920s. In Tampa on my dad's side, in New Jersey on my mother's. So I plan to be here for at least another 3 years. And I was joking about it because I bought my permanent occupancy condominium in St. Mary's Cemetery with friends around me. So eventually I'll come back here. So God bless all of you.